right, perfect. All right, Midwest Conference football fans, welcome back. We're interviewing today Max Andrews from University of Chicago, head coach. How you doing, coach?
Doing well, man. How you been?
Doing good, doing good. Ready for the upcoming season, as always. So just to start off a little bit, let's just get into how you're feeling about your team's this upcoming season. How's the off season been going for you a little bit to start talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. Boys are excited. I think summer's a big internship period for a lot of our players. They travel across the country and do all sorts of job opportunities. So I know they're itching to get back to football in the next couple of weeks. So just kind of finalizing logistics stuff, camp, report date, all that. But the boys seem to be excited and ready to get back to the grind and back to work.
Definitely. So just to start off, what is your approach to developing players that are coming in as freshmen, but as well as just developing them as athletes, not just as athletes, but as individuals?
Yeah, I think the first thing that you got to focus on is the relationship piece to a lot of these players. I think when it comes to development and teaching these kids skills, I think that relationships have to come first because as deep as your relationship is with a player, that's how much you're going to be able to teach them skills and techniques and give them tools to be successful. So the first thing for me is going to be definitely developing some trust, some consistency, and some stability within the coaching staff and the players. And then I think through that, a byproduct of that is just them taking the tools that we teach them through, whether it's meetings, practice, individual drills. If they know that the coach believes and trusts in them, they're going to be able to use those tools in the moments that they are needed.
Definitely. Gotcha. And just to talk about the upcoming season as well, are there any specific goals that you have for your team's upcoming season? And if so, how do they differ from your last season's objectives?
Yeah, I think there's not really too much deferring from last season. I think a lot of the times with young players, they kind of see the end goal, see the championship that they want, and sometimes you kind of overshoot what the normal day to day is. So, I think the biggest thing for us is just be where your feet are. I think take every day one by one, and win the day. And if you win each and every day, building up to that game, all that work that you do from Monday to Friday, that's what wins the game. I think Saturday you just kind of put it all together and go out there and play. But I think all the steps in the process that we do in between the Monday, the Sunday to Sunday, I think that's the most important thing for us when it comes to those Saturdays. So not too much deferring from last season. I think every player's goal is to win a championship, and trust me, that's always going to be our goal as coaches. But you got to start small, and I think those small wins that we get throughout the week, each day, each hour, whatever it is, those are what's gonna set us apart on Saturday.
Definitely. That's great. And speaking of Saturdays, the big thing about that is leadership from each other. Of course, as teammates, we gotta lead each other on and off the field. And so, just to talk about player leadership, how do you envision player leadership involving the season, based on last year's experiences?
Yeah, we have our captains selected. Five guys that we see that are going to lead us both on and off the field. But we also have other leaders in our leadership council. So we'll have a group of set aside of upperclassmen who the team selects as our leaders.
Hmm.
So being able to meet with the captains, meet with those players to see what they need from us as coaches and what we need from them as players. So that's going to be a really good tool for us from a communication piece to make sure that all the players are loved and cared for, and that we give them what they need to be successful. So on and off the field, these guys I think are what make this place special. That's what kind of got me to fall in love with University of Chicago is the young men that we bring in are truly a very strong brotherhood, I think
Hmm.
here. So that's the biggest thing for us. But I think through the captains in the leadership council, that's what's going to be able to establish some leadership within the room, because I want this to be a player-led team. We're as coaches, we're here to kind of help steer the ship, but this is their program. I want them to have some ownership of it and be able to share interests and decide certain situations.
Gotcha. Definitely. So I want to talk about the fan and community engagement a little bit at University of Chicago. How important is it for fan support and community engagement for your team, and how do you guys plan to foster that in this season?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think Southside Chicago in itself just has a lot of pride. I think a
Yeah,
lot of people in Southside Chicago, are proud of where they're from and where they live. I think back in the day when U Chicago didn't have a football team, some people are still kind of stuck in those days where they don't really necessarily know if U Chicago has a football team or not. So I think being able to get out in the community, doing community events like going to schools, reading to kids, having some sort of super summer sports camp with children in the South Side, being able to come to campus and see that, go out in the community, clean up some areas, give away some free T-shirts, even on campus, but off campus too. I think being able to get out in the community and letting people know that U Chicago football is here, and that we're successful.
definitely. That's amazing, coach. So just to finish off, I want to just talk about, you guys, any special like players you guys have you want to mention this upcoming season? Is anybody you guys, you want to get excited about?
Yeah. I think just our whole team is just like I said, we're just a bunch of great young men. I think we're built up. We have a very really good senior class this year, who have been through a lot. They've been through a lot of changes and transitions, but they're hungry and they're ready to go. And I think this senior class especially is going to really be able to lead the young guys. I think positionally, wide receivers, we're a very heavy senior led group. We have 5 to 6 fifth-year seniors, 4-year seniors, who are ready to really step up and compete this fall. Offensive line wise, we're bringing back 2 fifth-year seniors, Dylan Norman and Ryan Bowles. They're going to be able to lead from up front. We have a big surplus of freshmen. We brought 7 freshman offensive line in who are hungry and ready to work. Tight end room this year is definitely stacked. We're bringing back Aiden Mandel, who's an all-conference player for us. He's going to be able to give us both run game support and pass game. So him fall behind Mackie Keenan, and a couple other freshmen and some transfers. Running back wise, KJ, he's my man, he's my boy. He's going to be able to lead us. Southside Chicago native from St. Rita. Being able to carry the rock for us, but he's also has some help from a transfer, Vestudo from Butler, and then also Miles Parlay, a freshman coming in who's ready to work. Quarterbacks coming back. Jack Ruff kind of led us last year, but we have some talented quarterbacks in that room. Between Jack Ruff and Teddy Goulden, and a couple of young guys coming in. I think those two led us last year significantly. I think with the leadership and the growth that they have shown throughout their time here, it's only going to put us in a better situation. Defensively, have a lot of young talent. I think there's a lot of talent across the board. Got some returners, 50 years coming back to support us defensively. A couple guys up front, a safety. Aiden Capolino, just a guy that kind of resonates with me. He's a 5th-year senior coming back, middle linebacker. He's everything you want in a player. Everything you want from a kid. Great leader. He's not the most vocal kid, but he leads by example and leads by what he does on and off the field. So, he's a guy that you're happy to have him on your team. Is what I'd say. So, he's surrounded by some really top talented kids. We have a young DB group coming in, and that's going to be a position where I'm excited for because we brought in some talent at the DB room, and seeing them compete in that space, I think is going to be awesome. And just surrounding them with really good coaches. We brought in Coach Copeland, who's a DB's coach. He's a young guy at Iowa. He has FBS experience, so his coaching experience is going to really bleed into that group. And then our defensive coordinator Daryl Meckley, he's the guys really believe in him and buy into his system. And I think, like I talked about earlier, I think that trust and that togetherness is going to be the biggest thing for us from a team standpoint, and just playing together. Yeah. Offense, defensive, special teams. I think that's just going to be, we have to play as one. There can't be too many differentiations from offense to defense, and we can't hurt each other. I think just playing together and just be positive. I think being positive, there's going to be ebbs and flows throughout the season. In this league, you can't really overlook anybody. So being able to play together, take one game at a time, and take care of business. But really excited about this group of boys. I think we have a potential to do some really good things this fall. And it all starts on August 15th, and making sure that we take day by day, and don't let any days slip by.
Definitely. Sounds amazing, because I can't wait to see you guys in the fall too, man.
Yeah, man. Excited to go. I know you got a scouting report on us now, so
just a little bit.
It's all good.
But it was great talking to you, Coach. Thank you again for your time. And
yeah, for sure, Cameron.
For this upcoming season. It'll be exciting.
Yeah, man. For sure. Again, I'll talk to you soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure.